All righty, we are still rolling here. It is a Thursday. Hope everybody is excited for this weekend, right? It is now Friday the 18th today of April. Aaron Rodgers, I just heard Aaron Rodgers on Pat Mcafee, guys. Blown away by what I'm hearing from A-Rod and Aaron Rodgers. To me, guys, I got to be kind of, I want to think about these words carefully. Aaron Rodgers he's done with playing football competitively. And this isn't worth it anymore for the Pittsburgh Steelers. And listening to him today, it's everything that I needed to hear. The Pittsburgh Steelers welcome him into the facility. He knows the Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback coach, Tom Arf. He's had respect and has had a relationship with Arthur Smith for quite some time, the offensive coordinator. He's thrown with now the Steelers' best wide receiver in DK Metcalf, Omar Khan, and Mike Tomlin. And Aaron Rodgers, for no apparent reason, he hasn't give any inclination about whether he wants to play football. You know, he still's like, I'm not sure about my body. I'm not sure personally if I want to do it. And he's being incredibly vague with like all of his answers. And the Steelers and Mike Tomlin, like Mike Tomlin's still very young, and Mike does take really good. Mike's a strong guy, and Mike Tomlin, I think he's like 52 years old, and he has an interest to be the Pittsburgh Steelers coach another decade. Now, you do have TJ Watt, you do have DK Metcalf, so you are kind of in a win-now mode. But at the same time, like Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, I'm not sure, like mentally, from what I saw from that interview, that Aaron Rodgers is going to be ready to play playoff football and play it at a high level. I don't know if you can win a Super Bowl. It doesn't look like his mind is into football. It looks like his mind's like, into more of a vacation mode or, again, like he's dealing with a lot of things personally. And I respect that about Aaron, okay? I respect his personal space. At the same time, if I were the Steelers, I believe right now you do have a golden opportunity with these wide receivers, with this defense. In my opinion, I think that you got to get somebody at quarterback that's all in. And even though Aaron Rodgers is so talented, we're almost to the point of the draft. If you're going to go out and try to win a Super Bowl championship, I just think from Aaron Rodgers, like they're not setting a deadline, so this can go on and on. It just seems like Aaron Rodgers seems like a pleasantly nice guy. He really does. But it seems like the guy has so many interests outside of football. He does not seem at all anxious. Okay? He does not seem at all. The Steelers are giving him an opportunity, and he's not crawling to the opportunity. Like so many people on planet Earth with the skills of Aaron Rodgers, maybe if you played in 16 years in the NFL, you wouldn't feel this way anymore or feel that urgency. But so many people, if I was Aaron Rodgers' talent, like I would crawl to the Pittsburgh Steelers to be their quarterback, to make incredible wealth, but not even about the wealth at this point. It's to play under Mike Tomlin and Arthur Smith, and to have Pickens, to have a pretty good offensive line, to have Freiermuth as a tight end, to have DK Metcalf. I mean, you're talking about two all-pro wide receivers that you could throw the football to. You're talking about a Hall of Fame coach. You're talking about great ownership, GM. Like Pittsburgh has it all. Fan base, facilities, coaching, ownership, players, wide receivers, defensive players, brand name defensive players. It is a win now job. All right, but they got to get quarterback, and they got to shore up a little bit of offensive line. They got to shore up a little bit of spots, and they're ready to roll. So Right now, they have Mason Rudolph. If I'm Pittsburgh, honestly, I think eventually you tell Aaron Rodgers, I think you look at drafting a quarterback. So what you say to Rodgers is maybe you hold Rodgers at bay. Maybe this is all strategy so that you can go in the draft. I would take Tyler Shuck at quarterback. He's 25 years old. You need a quarterback that's not going to play like a rookie, all right, this year. So you can go get Tyler Shuck at quarterback, who's going to be your starting quarterback this year that can help you win some games. I think that Shuck is taller than Quinn Ewers. He's pretty safe quarterback. He can come in. You need an Andy Dalton-like rookie quarterback who's going to come in there. You need a Mark Sanchez-like rookie. Mark Sanchez was right there on the doorstep of a championship early in his career. You need a quarterback that is experienced that's going to come in there and deal, and that's why you need an experienced guy I don't know if could Dillon Gabriel have the goods at quarterback? Could Tyler Shuck? I'd look at both of those options. I really would look at it Dillon Gabriel at quarterback. I think that Milroe and Jackson Dart, I think that they're younger and they're going to make mistakes. So would you really roll with a Dart or a Milroe when you have this window with Metcalf, you have TJ Watt, you have all these experienced players, you're kind of going all in, you're trading away second-round picks to get in a DK Metcalf? That was to lure in Aaron Rodgers. And so I guess Pittsburgh's thinking this. They're thinking if they draft a quarterback, Aaron Rodgers could still come aboard. But the guy, why does Aaron Rodgers even need to go in undercover? Aaron Rodgers, had some paranoia about going to Pittsburgh. He had to fly into a small airport, and he didn't want any media attention, drove the Malibu, the car. I mean, Aaron Rodgers just doesn't, why can't you just go there, show up at the airport, okay, I'm visiting Pittsburgh, and I'm going to have a decision in 10 days. Not a lot of people get this leniency to constantly think and think and think and think. Eventually they are going to hit the deadline. That's the thing. Eventually you're going to have minicamp. Eventually you are going to have preseason. So there is going to be a deadline at some point. So if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers, respectfully with Aaron, it looks like Aaron's on another stage right now of life. Okay, and that's fine. So Pittsburgh's got to pivot, I think, and ironically using the podcast, good podcast, Ryan Clark and those guys at the Pivot, they got to pivot to, I think Kirk Cousins is very in play. I think Atlanta has a lot of power because Kirk Cousins is kind of that older quarterback that's going to be there for 1 year, who has that high floor, who can throw it around a little bit, all right, that can come in and be suitable and know some offense with Arthur Smith. And, Aaron does have a higher upside than Kirk. Man, oh man, the Steelers messed it up. They should have rolled with Justin Fields at quarterback. They should have rolled with Russell Wilson. They should have rolled with Russ. They should not be selling out to Atlanta right now. And just, oh man, did they make a miscalculation with Rodgers? I think it's a mistake. I don't believe Aaron's going to go there. And maybe Aaron proves me so wrong, but I don't believe that Aaron mentally is ready to play football at a high level and ready to go through the gauntlet of an NFL season listening to him on Pat McAfee. Listening to his show, it was eye-opening that Aaron is he's ready to relax by the beach and ready to go into retirement. That's what it seemed like from that interview. Okay, he went into Latrobe, he met with the Steelers people, okay, but from that interview, he showed no urgency or interest to really get in the trenches and play football. And this is a violent game. You need to be 100% all in if you're Aaron Rodgers. You need to be 100% jacked up and excited because you need to learn a new system. You need to get on the same page with new wide receivers, and then you're still playing in a very tough division. They need Aaron, 41 years old. It's tough to play football, and this game's hard enough. And then if you're not all in it, he just thinks he does have this confidence about him. And I guess that, again, he does have the Hall of Fame credentials to back it up, but he kind of thinks like Aaron thinks, that he could just kind of go 60%, okay, you know what? I think I'm going to wake up on this side of the bed today, and I think I'm going to go play for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Man, oh, man. They're wasting. I think it's too late already in the process. I do. They've given it plenty of time, and it doesn't even seem to be close. And there seems to be a lot of vagueness. And again, like, it's privacy, so I understand that he's keeping his private life private, and I do respect that. But at some point, if you're the Steelers, and I'm talking from their perspective, at some point, the roster and the team, at some point, they got to move on. You know, the Steelers are a big enough brand. So you draft a quarterback. Gosh, the Kirk thing is actually, in hindsight, I don't even know if Kirk Cousins at this stage, his arm just looks like it's done. Honestly, Russ looked better than Kirk last year. So you wouldn't roll with Fields. So now at this draft pick at quarterback, I think Tyler Shuck, actually, of Louisville, he could be magic at quarterback. Dylan Gabriel, smaller. Milroe scares me. Jackson Dart, again, I actually think Shuck has more ability, so I'm in the minority there. Maybe you try to go up and get Deion Sanders' kid, Shedeur Sanders, to be the quarterback for the Steelers. Again, does he have the arm strength to make it all work? It is a good scheme for Shedeur. Man, oh man. They're going to have to draft a quarterback that can immediately come in and be pretty decent at quarterback. And I guess it's Shedeur or Shuck are honestly the safest quarterbacks that can come in. And I'm talking about guys with a low floor. The higher ceilings are Milroe. You even have Dylan Gabriel, who has a high ceiling, but he's smaller, so you're really scared about the floor. Shedeur doesn't have the ceiling at all of Cam Ward. That's why Cam Ward, to me, is an easy first overall pick. Great player, Cam Ward. I think there's a big separation there. And then number two is the second quarterback in this draft is a crapshoot. So it looks like Rodgers is done. You didn't re-sign Justin Fields. Again, you could have signed Fields for $20 million, which is exactly like half of what Rodgers is going to make. And you would have at least had a quarterback. You at least would have had an option other than Mason Rudolph. So you completely butchered this thing with Pittsburgh. You could have allowed Justin to compete. Now, maybe Justin didn't want to come back. You could have signed Russ again back in Pittsburgh. You missed on those two guys. And then you didn't even sign like Drew Lock. You didn't even look at like a Darnold or a Daniel Jones. The Steelers are messing it up right now. And with Rodgers at this stage, I guess it's for the draft, but I would eventually tell Aaron after the draft immediately that it's just not going to work. That it's time to develop whatever quarterbacks are there that want to be there, because it just doesn't seem good at all. Listening to that interview, you just found out where his psyche was. And listen, it's okay. It's okay to retire, right? It's all right. I still think Aaron has a year left in him to play good football, but it is his decision. So that's that. And he put in a great career. Listen, he retires. It's his decision, of course. All right, so that's the way it's looking right now.